Okay, I think we're good. I don't know if this is gonna work, but we're gonna have to give it a try. This is our moment of truth right here. I just reopened Discord. Oh, for fuck's sake! All right, we're gonna wait for everybody to pop in before we test it. Gotta make sure they can hear you. Gotta make sure they can hear
Dracie.
me. All that good shit. What's up, Sid? Ayo, Sid, I'm gonna need your help. Okay, can you hear Jay
THTSYN.
Auntie? Dracie, that's
That's
wild.
wild.
Yeah, that's been a thing for a little while now. All right. So, Gianti, say something racist. Wait, don't say.
Yup.
Okay, never mind. Don't say something too racist. But you can hear Gianti. All right, cool. So I think we're good to go. All right, awesome. So it shared the Discord audio. I was wondering if it was gonna do that. All right, dope. Hold on, real quick, one more time. Gianti, just start saying some bullshit real quick. All right, dope. Hold on, real
Like
quick, one more
soda.
time. Gianti, just start saying wait, one sec. Real quick. Huh, I don't think you popped up on stream, actually.
He might be a bit quiet.
He might be a bit quiet. No, it's not you, Janty. I can hear you very well. I think it's just that the Discord thing might not be. I just took a screenshot by accident. I think the Discord thing. Ah, I need to. I don't know if I can actually connect that to voice chat. Not sure. Okay, Janty, you wanna instead do PS app real quick for this? Okay, cool. All right, well, I'll see you on PS app then.
I think you can.
I'm gonna contact him on the PlayStation app because he wants to be a part of this. Let me find his thing and then start a party with him. One
Yup.
sec. Gotta make sure everybody's here as well. It's gonna be a fun one. Yeah, it's been a little while. All right, Duffel OVO start party. All right, let's try that, and then I think we should be good. Hopefully. But anyway, while we wait, how's everybody doing? It's been a while since we did a stream, for sure. Definitely a little while, but I'm happy we're back. I'm happy we're doing this again. Crazy quote, by the way. I see that, but I'm excited. We've had a little bit of a dip,
You're
but
telling me I've had J anti-friended this entire time.
uh, yeah. I think we've played one time. I don't remember when that was. It's been a while, but yeah. Let me let him know that I started a party, and we'll see if we can get him in there. Let me also send this stream to the server. Okay.
IDIDNT know that Duffel was J anti loudly crying face.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like who dis Duffel man.
Yeah, he should be here in a second. He must be setting up his PlayStation app. He might have to log in. I'm not sure. He might be having a little bit of a tough time. But for now, we wait for everybody. We got notification squad on. We got the thing going. Oh yeah, he just got off Discord, so he should be here in 1 second. Hopefully, the rest of them do pop up, or at least somebody else, so we can get this going. It's gonna be exciting. Well, I say exciting, but it's also gonna be. I don't even know what it's gonna be. I don't even know anymore. But this story is so confusing. But yeah. In the meantime, I suppose what we'll do, because I know, Igor
Now to
needs
Miss George.
some catching up. For example, it's definitely one of them. Igor needs to Igor is very out of the loop with a lot of this. So he really needs to we really need to catch him up. He needs a little bit of help. We're gonna get him up to pace. We're gonna get him up to par. We get to talk about all the shit that happened with Dracie in the last couple of days. Kendall too. We can talk about, well, pretty much any of that shit. That's what this is for. One of them streams where we just go through everything. And also, happy early 4th of July, I should mention. Happy early 4th of July. I will be gone for most of the day tomorrow. I'll be over at my grandma's house. We'll be chilling out for a little while, a couple hours. I will be back later in the day. I don't think I'll be streaming again unless for some reason this stream ends up being a failure, then I might be like, all right, I guess let's do it tomorrow. But in the meantime, this works for now. I think this works for now. I do wonder if Jayanti's all right though. I don't know. He might be having trouble setting up his PlayStation app. I don't know how to help him.
What just happened with dragging my balls?
Hey, there he is. What's up, Igor? All right. So you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna go ahead and just quickly start. We need to get Lobro caught up on everything because I think he's the most out of the loop out of anybody. Right. So Igor, this whole entire thing going on between Danielle and Gracie has been actually wild.
Igor on screen.
This whole thing between Danielle and Gracie has been absolutely no, has been absolutely wild to say the least. I think the most fair point to start would be from what happened at SummerSlam. Now, you are very well aware of everything that happened in the diary. We already went over with all that. I'm not going to go over that again. Well aware of all that. But what kept happening throughout the road to all of this has been wild because throughout the entire road to, let's say, the Royal Rumble and whatnot, things have been tense. You know what I mean? Gracie definitely had been more on the outskirts, and we've already discussed her intentions. We know her intentions are somehow not as villainous as they seem. Disregarding the curb stomp, I think if you take away the curb stomp, this is what I was talking about with a couple other people as well. That if you completely disregard the curb stomp, when we talk about a little bit more of this soon, she really isn't that like I don't know. It's gonna take a minute to get to, but what happened at the Royal Rumble. And around that time, of course, we had the interaction between Jayanti and Gracie going pretty crazy. Same with Joyce and Gracie. We had all of that going on. The return of Danny. She won the Rumble, blah, 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 blah. And that definitely sparked something. Because after the Rumble, uh, Gracie certainly wasn't happy and whatnot, obviously, because then when we started the road to WrestleMania is when we really got to a lot of the storytelling that started happening. Because a lot of it did happen behind the scenes. A lot of it was pretty much the same, where people were trying to reconnect with Gracie. Like, we would have Max try to talk to Gracie. We would have Butch try to talk to Gracie. Jayanti try to talk to Gracie when he could. Even, not Paul, but a couple of people tried to interact with Gracie during this. And a lot of the times it was pretty tense. It was pretty. I don't know. It was pretty intense. It wasn't the best interaction. They definitely had some struggles. But when the road to WrestleMania started, and we got those 3 weeks of chaos and whatnot, things started to change big time because of one key thing that happened. Because I think we discussed this already. That the entire reason that Gracie is doing this is because, to put it in the best words that I can, she felt like Danielle was doing all this to spite her. And I feel like it's common knowledge now that Gracie and Danielle have kind of had an unspoken crush on each other for almost their whole lives, I guess is the way to put it. I think that's like the unspoken thing that people know. If you didn't know that, Igor, I'm shocked, but now you know. It was one of them things where, it started in school with like a little thing and then it turned into a big thing, but neither of them ever said anything to each other. And we'll get back to that soon because this plays a big part in what happened with Kendall, who we'll switch back around to in a minute. But to keep catching you up, the incident that really changed a lot of this was this shit would be so funny. Wait, I think Janty's there. Janty? Hey, there we go. Okay. Hey, quick question for y'all. Can y'all hear Jayanti? Jayanti, say something racist. Alright, have y'all heard that? Are we good? Is he heard on stream? And I'll answer who Kendall is soon. We'll circle back to that very soon. That's gonna be the main topic of this whole thing. You can't? What the fuck? Hold on a sec. What?
Community
Wait.
Relations Janine. Now.
No thanks, Janice George. Thank you for stopping by, though. Wait, Janty, can you hear yourself on the stream? Okay. I guess we'll see in a second. Trying to check my settings. I guess we'll find out. I remember turning it on though. Okay, it sounds like he might not be able to hear himself. The hell is going on stream? This is strange. Is it because of the PlayStation app? That wouldn't make sense, would it? Hi? Hi, did it... yeah. Did it work? I think he had the stream on. It's not working. Shit, alright. Let me see. Okay, because I remember I did this... Wait, what? Oh, hi. Hi. Wait, did that work maybe? Oh, let me turn, hold on.
Fire Pro finisher.
Oh, hi. Hi. Wait, did that work maybe? Oh, let me turn, hold on. Oh, hi.
Peanuts.
Hi. Wait, did that work maybe? Oh, let me turn, hold on. Oh god, it's doing a loop. Whoa. I don't think you're popping up on stream. Dude, what the heck? I keep taking screenshots. This is strange. It's very strange. Okay. I don't know. I'm not sure. Because I remember when I did this before with Max, his voice was able to be heard on stream, but I'm not sure why it's not doing it now. Cause we're in a regular party, aren't we? Yeah, we are. Huh. Do you have your audio able to be shared? Because there's a setting on your thing that could also allow your audio to not be shared to where it won't pop up in video clips and whatnot. Okay, yeah, check that real quick. Do you know where that is? Me too. Although I am on PS5, so I don't know if it's gonna be different, but it might be privacy. User account privacy? Maybe that might be it. Voice data? Oh hell no! This is all confusing. What is going on? Wait. No. Damn. I don't know. Yeah. Try looking for it. Let me keep catching Igor up while you look for that. But okay. So where was I, Igor? We're gonna get bro all caught up. So yeah, we knew the common thing was that they probably had a crush on each other, right? And we'll circle back to that in a minute. But the thing that really changed everything about this whole story, that completely almost 180'd it, was the...
I got it.
Oh, you got it? Is it good now? Wait, let me turn the stream audio on. Hold on.
I got it.
Ah, hell yeah, there we go. All right, we're good now. Janty's here. All right. So the thing that completely 180'd this entire story was Chaos Week 16. The segment where Danielle Garcia went out and cut a promo, right? She went out and cut a promo. Dracie had popped up at the same time. This is after the Rumble. And, of course, I think you remember that promo. They talked a lot. But what happened was when, of course, Danielle said that she was no different than the Archangel. That was a mistake. That was not something she should have said, but she did say it. And that prompted, of course, the alpha inside of Dracie, the instinct to kick in. She heard it. She hated it. Her first attack, her first what's the word? Her first instinct was to attack. And without thinking about who she was attacking, without thinking about what she was doing, she attacked Danny for saying that. And she attacked, and and then she realized what she was doing. Oh my god. She realized what she was doing. And the biggest thing was when she saw Danielle's blood on her hands. And that is when everything changed, because in that moment, the one thing that she promised was that she would never hurt Danielle so bad like that. Obviously, you had to hurt each other to wrestle a match, but she would never do something that would genuinely hurt Danielle, such as a curve stomp, such as beating her so bad that she's bloody, all that. She said she would never do that. In her diary a couple times, to other people as well, she broke her promise. And that ended up being something that changed everything for Gracie because this entire time has never been to hurt Danny. This entire time has been to change Danny.
Did she not just destroy her at SummerSlam?
She hit a couple finishers. I wouldn't call that. I don't think that's worse than literally beating someone to a bloody pulp.
Inconsistent, aho.
Very different things. But so let's not make jokes out of this because I'm trying to have a conversation. When she got the blood on her hand, that is when everything changed because again she made the promise that she would never try to hurt her that bad. She would never bloody her. She would all she wanted was for Danielle to feel the same way about her. And of course, we know this whole time she did. No, sorry. We know this whole time that she did, but thing is, she never really showed it, and that it's really hard because we're gonna have to circle back to this again with the whole Kendall thing, but that changed a lot because then she started to question herself because she's never been doing any of this to Danny to hurt her. And she started to question herself. She started to do all this. She started to talk to Max. She started to wonder if what she was doing was right. We had week 17, of course, where 13XC attacked Danielle. But that was not off of Gracie telling them to. They did that themselves. And when Gracie told them to stop, they almost rebelled, where they were like, we're attacking because you listened to the wrong people. And then, of course, week 18, we had the final segment between the two. And this is where everything really went wrong, because this could have gone a lot better. But Danielle, at this point, who had talked a lot with a lot of people, agreed that Gracie... It really depends on how you look at life compared to how you look at the situation, because the way you look at life will change the way that you look at the situation, because the way that most of the people in Justice look at this is with optimism, to where they understand that Gracie never did any of this to get back at them because of the things that she's been saying, how she's gonna be there for them in the war. She's gonna fight that. She wants to be with Danny one day. All of this are things that Gracie wanted, and they know that. And they made vows to each other that said, Gracie, we've known her for so long. What is it gonna do if we constantly push her away? This whole time, she has been somebody she's not. She made the mistake of joining 13XD and all this shit. It's hard to put into words, really. And it's something that she couldn't go back on. She talked to... I honestly think a lot of this is also going to be going back on messages, but I'll do that in a little bit. But they vowed to, instead of push Gracie away, to help Gracie and bring Gracie back. And Danielle was the same way. But Danielle also had a lot of pent-up anger, because Danielle as a person, she's not petty, but seeing what she did to Butch, to Nyla, to Nevaeh and whatnot, and even to her, there's a lot of anger in that, and that all kind of came out on week 18. Now, whether or not Danielle wanted to, it's how it came across, where they had a promo back and forth, and Gracie started to break, because Gracie started to realize that this whole entire time, what she's been doing meant absolutely nothing. That this entire time she's been, curb stomping, whatever, she's been releasing all her anger, she's been doing this to Danny and whoever else, right? She kind of realized at the same time, with the whole blood incident, with everything that everybody's been saying, seeing everybody's messages, she started to maybe realize, maybe this entire time, I've been the villain. I've been the bad guy. I've been the traitor. When this whole time she thought it was Danny. And she tried to kind of express that on week 18, but of course, Danielle wasn't having that, and she began to walk away, and then you saw how Gracie said that she loved her too, and then, of course, Danny got really mad, because it's like, you say that now? Like, after doing everything that you did to people, now you say that you love me. Now you say that. And that resulted in Danny hitting her. And that one brawl changed a lot, which we will return to. But, of course, they had their brawl. Gracie was the one to stand tall, but she was not happy about it. And that led to the end of that. And the rest of it happened behind the scenes. Now, there was a very important conversation that will definitely help me explain a lot of this. And it's a conversation that she had with Max. And It will take me a moment to find it, but while I find it, if you have any thoughts, Jayanti or Igor, please do tell. Same with Sid if you want to. Please do say anything while I find this. Also, I think I already hear fireworks
Wait,
going
what?
off. Sorry?
No, you said something.
Nah, I heard fireworks
I'm
going
just
off.
waiting for the part where I come in.
Oh, I said that. Yeah. If you have anything to say, please do say it.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, to talk about that whole situation, uh, I I knew what was going on at the time. Uh, do I? Am I speaking from like? It's actually crazy because I'm never talked on stream with you before lively.
Hey, what's
Um,
up, Smart Dog? We're getting Igor
what's
all
good,
caught
smart
up.
dog?
Well, Smart Dog, we're gonna get
Yeah.
to the Kendall stuff very soon, very soon. But sorry, go ahead, Daniel. I mean, Jay, it's great. Fuck, yeah.
So
uh,
basically, um, um, I don't that I had a feeling. I had a very good feeling before this. Alpha
Skibidi toilet lore
Gracie was
stream.
alpha. I know this is a while back to say, but I know I had a feeling. I had a real good feeling about that.
yeah.
This what happened. That that shit was crazy. And everything after that was even more crazy. And I don't even know where to start to be honest because I know
Dishes.
crazy count. Someone count how many times I say crazy.
Crazy? I
Um,
was crazy one. Sorry.
crazy. I was crazy once. They locked me in a room,
A
a
rubber room with
room with
Gracie.
rats.
Wait, whoa.
And Gracie makes me crazy.
Yeah. All right. I did find the message. So Max had sent a message, a couple of messages to Gracie when he came back on June 7th, 2024. And I will read out what he said because this is a very important conversation for you to hear, Igor. And also, I will reinstate this again. You need to join Justice if you want to keep up with this shit, man. I'm dead ass. They'll let you in. Just lock in, okay? Now, let me talk about this conversation. So, Max messaged Gracie. This is after the Alpha reveal. This is when he came back around Blood Moon Rumble time. He said, Gracie, why? It all makes sense now, but why? Everyone else wants you to drown in hate, and trust me, I do too. But I'm the last one to be judging someone. But you know, a small part of me understands. You felt like a shadow, someone set aside and not given enough credibility for what they've been busting their ass off for the past years for. You felt that the person that spent their entire life with you, through thick and thin, was the one to free you from your shackles of despair. I get it, yeah, I get it. And for that, I realized that this is not Gracie Lewis. You're Alpha, and there's a difference. This might be hard to compare because he's nothing like you and will never be, but you've been trapped, like Butch in the beginning with Granger. But instead, you're two-faced. You're hiding behind the Alpha mask and behind a layer of skin that you try to separate yourself with Alpha from. And until you peel that layer of skin off, you are no longer the person that I used to know. I missed you, Gracie, surprisingly more than anyone else here aside from Adrian. I missed what we had and the person you were. But like you said, there's no time to go back. You can't. But luckily, he was wrong about that. But I realized that on my own that you made your own deathbed and have to face it. Easier said than done for you, though, it seems. I probably won't step a foot back in the justice. Didn't age well. He's back now. He said, why am I talking to you? Why do I even feel the urge to express myself to you? You're the last person who deserves it. You've never been who you say you are, and I guess that's why I'm here. We both seek redemption for different reasons. Each other's being more understandable than the other's in certain terms. You might deny, but somewhere in there is Miss Fearless herself, the one that carried justice through trouble, the one I called a friend, a lover for a small period of time. The best bully a person could ever have. But again, two layers in front of that, covered by a layer of fake skin and a mask, lies Alpha, not Gracie Lewis. That is what he messaged. And then Gracie, the next, a couple hours later, replied. And this is in the middle of when Gracie was kind of in that transition of Alpha and Gracie. She wasn't really sure who she was at that time, whether she was Alpha or whether she was Gracie. But this is what Gracie said back. And this is a very important thing to dissect based on what she said. So she said, you don't have a place to speak. I never left justice. I got kicked out and I said I intended to fight with them no matter what, and I still am. I have issues with one person and one person only. I couldn't control getting banished, but you left, and you had no intentions of coming back until someone tried to put your name under fire. It's kind of ironic that this whole time we've been struggling, you don't bat an eye. You don't say a word to us. But the moment something happens that could affect only you, that's when you show up. If you cared to begin with, you would have never left. That's why I haven't left. It's because I still care. And hell, I don't even know if what I'm doing is right anymore. I don't know how to feel or what to think. I just don't know. But I'm not going to waste my time opening up to a selfish narcissist. But I guess I can't talk. But at least I didn't abandon my friends when Adrian died. At least I didn't burden the person I love with a demon she could barely control. At least I told people the truth about what I did instead of hiding it and running away. It almost seems like between you and Gensui was never the demon. You were. Go away. So that was Gracie's reply. Pretty harsh. And the next day, or not next day, a couple hours later, again, we got a reply from Max. And he said, yeah, I'll leave you alone, but I understand. But just know you are wrong. Yeah, sure, yeah, one reason I'm back is because of the stupid Starlight Kid shit, but that's not it. I saw the look in Danielle's eyes as I went back and watched the year over. It's not the same. None of you guys are the same. They aren't the same because one of the people that led the charge in justice was secretly the one that tortured them for over a year. And on top of that, added a burden to them after their best friend, my best friend, was killed. And yeah, I had no reason to leave, but I know why I'm here now. I want back in, and I don't care what reasoning you or Danielle or Paul or Kat have against you of doing this, but I'm going to be the one to smash one of their faces in. Referring to EOD, by the way. I had dreams of Adrian and I knew me running away isn't what he would have wanted. So no, I'm not doing this for myself. I'm going to figure out how to get a source of power back. I'm going to join back in justice and stand beside what I call my friends and never make the mistake of leaving again for them, my family, and for most importantly, Adrian. Fuck this guilt inside of me because I'm able to face my problem aside you who still has to deal with it. Because as much as you may love Danielle, she's not going to be satisfied until she teaches you a lesson. Just like you wanted, right? Goodbye, loser. And I should also mention loser is kind of like their nickname, I guess, if you want to call it that. They kind of like an insult nickname, one of them things that they always used to say to each other. And then I believe Gracie replied. I just dropped my bottle cap. Never mind, there we go. I believe Gracie replied one more time before this conversation ended, and this was big. This was a big thing to hear. Gracie said, "Tortured is a stretch, Max. They're fine. They're mad, but they're fine. Anyone that got hurt was someone who tried to stand in my way. How many times did I tell Butch to stay away? I didn't want to hurt him. But if I showed Butch mercy, how weak would I have been perceived by the other four?" Referring to 13XB. I tried over and over to push Butch away from Alpha, and he kept pushing me. I had no choice. I've never intended to do anything torturous to any of you, especially Danielle. And if you ever cared enough to listen to what I said, you would have taken that hint. All I wanted was for her to just see what she became. Max replied, he said, but you have tortured her. Maybe not in the form of torture physically, but you torture her just because she found out that her best friend had been plotting on her for the longest time. Someone that she trusted kept beside her. That's more than enough. Gracie said, and I felt the same way for years, but no one batted an eye. They only came after me because I actually did something about it. And Max said, so this is really what you want? Gracie said, I don't know anymore. But it's like everyone said, it's too late. She even said it herself. Max said, you can go back. Gracie said, no, I can't. A lot of this, I'm going to go past some of this because, oh yeah, okay. I'll go to this part. Max said, you're not the same person, and even you haven't realized it. But Gracie replied by saying, I'm the same because I've always loved her from the beginning, Max. I still do. I meant what I said. When I said that to her, I meant it. This entire time I've been doing what I'm doing because she never loved me back. She kept putting me down and making me feel worthless for years. I've already explained it all multiple times. And over these last couple of weeks, I'm beginning to see maybe that wasn't true. And maybe I saw things differently from how they really were. Maybe I did fuck up. Maybe I did make a mistake that I can't come back from. Maybe she did love me and now she doesn't anymore. I came to that realization. But I told nobody because there's no point. I'm the bad guy now. I did that to myself. And Max kind of let her know, like, everyone that you've hurt senselessly, nobody really meant to do this to her. And he's like, why couldn't she see that from the beginning? Or why didn't she tell me or anyone else long ago so you could end this Alpha thing before it was too late? Gracie actually said, because I jumped the gun and made a stupid mistake, okay? I thought joining 13XD was my only escape, that they would be my answer. And maybe you're right. Maybe I'm not Dracie anymore. Dracie died the moment I joined them. And I don't know how to bring her back because I already went too far. And Max said, this is what you wanted from the beginning. And said, if you were to beat Danielle at WrestleMania, what happens next? Think about it. You did all of this. What happens next? Gracie's like, you think I didn't know that, Max? I know that. I didn't know it before, but now I do. And no, what I wanted from the beginning wasn't to beat her or make her feel worthless. What I wanted from the beginning was for her to love me the same way I did to her. I didn't know she did this entire time. That's what everyone is saying. This conversation is pointless anyway. I already did everything wrong that I could have. No matter how I feel, no matter how she feels, this is going to happen now. My plan was to beat her. And after seeing, she finally came back to normal, but now that's not going to happen because it's not even how she feels. She's always been normal. She's always been Danielle, but I haven't always been Gracie. It looks like the plan has reversed. So if I beat her, I lose. But at the same time, if I lose to her, everything I've ever done is pointless, and I also lose as well. And she's like, I don't even want the match anymore, okay? And a lot of that tells you kind of where her mindset is. And this mindset has progressed a lot, because keep in mind, this was a month ago. So you had a month of development from where Gracie's mind was, and you can see how it's starting to transition. But Max had said, my friend is smart enough not to get herself inside of the situation in the first place. And Gracie said, okay, will you just stop acting like you haven't made a mistake too? I don't care who is more brutal. You left and you didn't even say goodbye. You just did all that. And here I am talking to you after all this time. Were you smart enough to not do it in the first place? No, because you acted off of emotion. You weren't thinking. You imploded. I did the same thing 2 years ago, and I haven't been able to turn back since then. I haven't been able to see my wrongs until now. The same as you, okay? I disregarded everything. Adrian's death hurt me too, and it hurt Danielle. I know that. And instead of being there for her, I decided to ignore it and go into business for myself. Very self-aware. And Max said, I thought I hadn't been able to turn back too. I found myself again, and you can too. Gracie said, I'm trying to, Max. But Danielle doesn't want that. She wants me to fight me, and she's made that clear. So again, I have no choice, and she doesn't either. I doubt she even really wants the match. We're both doing things that we don't want anymore, and I don't know whose fault it is. So, and I know whose fault it is, so please stop telling me that. And she's referring to herself. And Gracie's like, it doesn't matter what happens now. My life is already over. Nobody there wants to see my face again. They want me, and they don't want me in the war since I don't have anything flashy to fight with anyway. But I'm gonna force myself into there regardless. And at this point, it just feels like it's out of selfishness, as a way to atone. And that is a big line. Because that can be taken in a couple different ways. Again, she said that she wants to be in the war, and it may be selfish, but she wants to be in the war so she can atone for what she's done. And that can mean 2 or 3 different things. Number one, it can mean that she wants to redeem herself. She wants to be in the war and fight alongside the people she loves to redeem herself, atone for what she's done. Number 2, that's all right, Small Dog. We'll get to the Kendall stuff soon, where you can join in, because I know you already heard all this, but I'm catching Igor up. But she and the second one, right? And it's up to you. This is kind of like an up to you thing. Which one do you think she's talking about? Where number 2, what does she mean by atone? Is what does she meant as a way to atone? Maybe the way she feels like she atoned, since she doesn't have any abilities, she most likely. If Gracie fights in this war with no abilities, there is a very high chance she ends up passing away. She ends up dying in this war. And is that what she meant by atone? Does she feel like the only way that she can atone for what she's done is by dying? Those are the two. Those are the 2 different ones. And it's kind of up for you. It's kind of up to you to decide which one she meant. Kind of leaving that one open, but moving on. She's like I said, we have nothing to use to fight. I'm just a normal person with normal strength, normal whatever. If I walk into that war with all the people who want me dead, referring to EOD, you can bet your ass I'm gonna die. But you know what, Max? That's okay with me, because as I just said, my life is done. It's over. I've done things I can't fix. No matter how anyone feels, I know it can't be fixed. So this is it. This is what I want. Whatever happens at WrestleMania happens. And afterwards, whether I have a conversation with you guys or not, I'm coming into the war with you all. And hopefully then we can, I don't know, say proper goodbyes and not have it end on hatred. That's how I want to live my life, and nobody can stop me, not even you. Let me see. So I'm going to go forward just a little bit more. Because a lot of this is kind of stuff that's already been discussed. Another interesting point is Max, during this conversation, moving on later into it, posted a picture of Gracie as Alpha, the one where she was holding the sledgehammer in her match against Nevaeh. He posted that picture. Gracie wanted him to delete it, and that was it. It's only that small thing, but tells you that Gracie didn't even want to look at herself as Alpha. She did not want to see herself like that. But what she said after, Max or whatever, Max was like, I'm here because I wanted to hear your point of view on what you went through, what went through your head while you did it. It's still hard to believe, but in some cases I understand. If you figure out a way to leave this alpha stuff behind and find yourself, promise that we'll go back to how it used to be. And then Gracie replied, WrestleMania is going to be my last match, Max. Either way, Alpha is done. My last match will be against the only person my last match will be against the only person who was ever here for me. I took it for granted, and now I finally got what I wanted. And I can't promise that things will go back to how they used to be. Why would you even want that? See, this is what I don't get. And Butch did the same thing. You said all this shit about how horrible I am, about how I deserved it, how you can't wait to see me suffer. And then you want to talk to me. And then you want to spend time with me. Do you hate me or not? Which is it? Nobody has given me a straight answer, and I don't get it. Why can't you just get it into your head that it's over? I'm not coming back. Nothing can go back to the way it used to be. For 3 years, I did this for nothing. I did it to amount to nothing but pain for everyone. And I was too stupid to see it. I did this, so I deserve this. You shouldn't be talking to me. None of you should. Just let me die in peace. Being fearless was a fucking lie. I've been scared my entire life and I never knew what for, but now I do. I was scared of what I would become. That's all I gotta say. Whoa. Okay, let's slow down.
Sorry, my bad.
Now,
Holy fuck.
yeah, proper reaction from Sid there. Why don't we take a moment? Why don't we take a moment before we continue? Because that right there, that whole entire thing that Gracie just said in that moment, told more story than she has done in any of her matches.
Pick. Gracie gone cray cray.
Okay, never mind. I don't agree with Sid anymore. Okay. Well, Janty, why don't you help me out here? Because bro is confused.
So I'm pretty.
Loudly crying face skull.
We were on the top of Max and Gracie having that conversation that one day, right?
Moment of
Yeah,
silence.
I was just reading all the messages.
So, if y'all didn't understand, Hero's very direct and direct dialogue of that whole situation. Basically, Max hit her up. Max hit her up and talked to her that whole situation with her being revealed to be Alpha.
Hold on one moment. I'm more so referring to the last message. Did you hear that? Where she was like, you know, the last thing that I just said, where she started to like kind of yell.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that part where she was like
Where
saying,
she was like,
do you want me to here? She was like, I did this so I deserve this. You shouldn't be talking to me. None of you should. Just let me die in peace. Being fearless was a fucking lie. I've been scared my entire life and I never knew what for, but now I do. I was scared of what I would become.
Half of it so loudly crying face.
That part.
yeah, about that part. She, I'm pretty sure y'all should know what that means.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Basically, if y'all don't know what that means, I'm just gonna basically flat out say it. I'm not sure what Hero's gonna do, but with this whole justice thing, but I'm gonna flat out say it. Grace is going into that war. She's probably gonna fight in that war, and it's basically a suicide mission or somewhat for somewhat. Yeah, it's somewhat of a suicide mission.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's a good way of explaining it. Yeah.
That attire is
Um,
fire, 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 fire.
fire, fire, fire. Thank you, Sid. Thank you. Yeah, and another thing is a lot of her anger is coming out, like in those messages. And if you notice, her anger wasn't directed at anybody. Her anger wasn't directed at Max, and it was not directed at Danny. She stopped being angry at Danny. She started to be angry at herself. And I think that is a really big, like, teller. You know what I mean?
yeah.
What am I looking for? Hold on. Where's the fucking... Did I not? Oh, shit. All right, never mind. I'll come back to it. But, I think that's a really big teller, is all of that. Now, Max really had no idea what to say. And, Max kind of didn't like that she basically was saying that she would go into that war planning to die or whatever.
Gracie sorta doing a kamikaze mission during the war.
You could say that. She doesn't have any abilities, which is why it's definitely almost like a suicide mission. It's almost like she's going, like we said, is that what she meant by atoning for what she did? You know what I mean? We don't know. But that is what she vowed. That Danny had made it very clear that anybody without abilities is not allowed to fight in that war. That includes Jayanti, Joyce, Igor, if you decide to join, Gracie, Max, and sort of Brad. Brad has them, but they're not quite strong enough. It's more of a it's a little bit weaker than it's not strong enough to be able to fight in it. But all those people, I think I might have forgotten somebody, but for now I'm just gonna say them and whoever else. They're not allowed to fight in the war because they don't have abilities. But Gracie has been pushing to get in there. She does not care. She wants to be there regardless. But to say Max was not happy that she basically said that she would try to die, that she would try to jump in and do that, right? And Gracie was like, "It's peace for me. If this is the last time that we speak, then I hope you find your way. Even if you end up dying too, we won't be seeing each other. And we both know what that means, so take care of yourself. Goodbye, loser." And if you did not understand what Gracie meant by that, she basically said,
Brad is the head of the sidelines since he still has enough power to hold the EOD off in case.
That's true. That is true. And basically what Gracie meant by that, saying, if this is the last time that we speak, like if we both end up dying and going to the afterlife, we won't be seeing each other again. And basically what she's implying by that is one's going to heaven, one's going to hell. You can guess which one's which. She basically admitted that. Yeah. Oh, whoa. But see, okay. In my perspective, I'm gonna stand by this, especially with an explanation that can come later. I don't think Gracie. I'm gonna come back to this because this really we need to get to the Kendall stuff. I need to get to the Kendall stuff soon. But they did talk quite a few more times. I'm not gonna go through everything because this will take hours upon hours. It might get boring, so I don't want to just go through messages. But Gracie at this moment has had these kind of interactions for a while, where she wasn't really sure who she was anymore. She wasn't sure if she was doing the right thing. And everybody can speak from a point of truth to where they have all messaged Gracie about this. Where we've had messages from Paul, from Max, from Jayanti, from Joyce, from Smile Dog, from Kat, and a couple other people I'm sure as well. They all have messaged Gracie because they realized that throughout all of this, Gracie never was trying to hurt any of them. And Gracie was the one that needed to be saved the most out of anybody. And they decided, why make this worse when we can make this better? And they all decided. It took a little bit of convincing for Paul and Kat, but they all decided that they were going to help get Gracie back. Because Gracie was starting to see, and especially this was true on week 18, which we saw, Gracie has now 100% realized, like full on, that what she did was like, what's the word for it, Janty? I can't even think of the fucking word. What she did was just
Community creation Janice George.
one
A
sec.
huge mistake.
It was,
It's not-
that's good. That's a good
yeah, mistake.
yeah.
Or you can think about it as I wouldn't say misunderstanding because that
It
that leads
doesn't fully
to a
fit.
topic later.
Yeah, it doesn't
Yeah.
like 100% fit right now. But no, yeah, a huge mistake is definitely a good term for it. Definitely a very big mistake. And oh, wrong one. And I think them realizing it now has kind of been like, excuse me, Gracie realizing this now has been a big eye opener. Not even just for her, but for a lot of people. Um, and with that being said, we have to know what the next step is. And we did find out the next step because throughout these, Gracie's last couple of interactions with Danielle, she had not talked to Danielle at this point, right? A couple days ago. She had not talked to Danielle since Justice Chat, before the Alpha reveal. She had not talked to Danielle once. And basically, um, uh, her last memories of Danielle at that time were all negative, to where she remembered the blood on her hand. She remembered the brawl that they had. How Danny hit her first, and how Gracie basically thought that she had already ruined everything, and that this match at WrestleMania was just gonna be a match, and that was gonna end things, and she would have to move on, fight in the war, and probably die. Right? She did not think she was getting with Danny at all. And this is where we begin to bring in Kendall, Cassie Dixon. Now, this is where we get to the new stuff. Now, before we continue on, Igor, since since we have just caught you up for the most part, do you have any questions, anything you need to say? Because I know you were very confused about this before. You were like, how do they forgive her? Do you kind of see what's going on now? I don't even know, man. They keep spamming the same message, so I just hid them. they kept spamming the same message like 4 or 5 times this stream. But yeah, let me know if you have anything to say, Igor. And also, Janty, if you have anything to say as well, same with Brad, please do. Really? You don't have anything to say? Crazy. Okay. Well, Janty, what about you? And Small Dog.
I don't really have
I have
anything
no
to say really
questions.
because
Question.
I've
Okay.
been through I've been caught up. Igor.
Wait, what? Wait.
Someone else. Unlike someone else that's not caught up. I'm pretty caught up with the situation.
Yeah, yeah, you're caught up. I just know if do you have anything else to add that I might be forgetting or something?
Hmm.
If not, that's all right. But
I don't really have a question at the moment.
okay, well, let's get into the Kendall stuff then. So probably would be good to have Paul here, but he can watch the stream back since he's not here. Probably Max as well, but same thing with him. So this is where everything began, to where this girl named Kendall, who was a new signing to the roster, she was on Havoc, decided to message Gracie. And it started out just normal. It started out friendly, well, not friendly. Gracie definitely wasn't in the best state of mind, where Kendall messaged her and was trying to get to know her, and Gracie was just confused. It's like, who are you? Why are you messaging me out of all the people? Like, you have all these other people to message, and you decide to message me. Still giving off, like, the guilt that she's not happy with who she is, basically. But Kendall kept kind of persevering, where she was like, Kendall was in the same span as a lot of people in Justice, to where she kind of like understood what Gracie was doing, understood why she did it, didn't condone it, but understood it. And Gracie was very reluctant at first, but eventually started talking to her, and they, started talking a little bit. They started just, being normal. But here's the thing with Kendall, right? Gracie at this point is single and basically believes she has no hope at all with getting with Danny, with doing any of that. Like I said before, she just expected, I am about to go into this war after fighting my best friend, or if we even are best friends anymore. I'm about to go into this war and I'm about to die. That's what's going to happen. That's exactly what Gracie thought. And having this person message her is where things really started to take a change, where Kendall started to get a little flirty with Gracie. And Gracie was confused. She's like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? What? She was confused. And Kendall was just kind of like, "Oh, I'm straight though." It's weird. Gracie's like, "Okay." Anyway,
It's an inside joke for them, bro.
it's like Kendall was joking. Well, we thought she was joking, but she said she was joking, and it just kind of, she kind of left it alone, and then they kept talking some more, and then Kendall started doing it again, and Gracie's like, "Okay, what are you doing? Are you like purposely doing this, or like, what's going on?" And okay, you know what? Actually, I should also say, Kendall at this point, this is the first night that they're talking. The first night. I need to mention that. It's fucking wild. But let me actually go back to make sure I don't miss anything. Give me one moment. Um right, she started kind of calling her names, like not bad names, but like nicknames or whatever, I guess if that's what to call them. One sec, let me find it. Okay, so this is when Gracie got confused because she was like, "Why are you flirting with me?" And Kendall was like, "I'm not." And then later on, Kendall was kind of talking about her, and Gracie was like, "Don't get mad at me because I'm telling the truth. You short stack cutie patootie." And Gracie just like, "What? You are definitely flirting, bro." Gracie was just confused as hell, and Kendall was like, "No, I'm not. I don't even like girls." And Gracie's like, "Wait, what? But you're." And then it's like, how do you? But you're. And then Kendall was like, "I mean, I can if you want." Gracie was like, "What? What are you doing?" And then she kind of like disregarded it. She just kind of like left it alone. She didn't really pay much attention to her saying that. Um, but they kept talking for a while. Had their height, their likes or whatever, what they were into, what their hobbies were or whatever. Um, and Kendall continued to flirt eventually with Gracie. And by the way, I should mention, Kendall was well aware of the relationship thing going on between Danny and Gracie. She was well aware of this, by the way. Should mention. She was not out of the loop. Um, and then, Kendall called her a short stack again. And Gracie was like, you're a tall stack. I bet you hit your head on the way through a door frame. Sucks to suck. Kendall said, how about I stack you? Janty, do you want to add anything on to this?
Okay, listen. Kendall, at this time, she's also single. Don't get it wrong. She's not taken by anybody. She's single. Um, she just got out of a relationship with her ex boyfriend, which it ended on with her, not her, him cheating on her. So she she thought it would be nice to make some new friends. She met Gracie, and here I already explained all that part. At that point, she was just at that point she was somewhat flirting. At that point, if she wasn't flirting then, she's definitely flirting now. At that
Yeah,
point in time,
it
she's
was
flirting.
more. It almost seemed like it was more of a rebound for Kendall, I guess is the way to put it. So this is the bad combination, and this is where you can start to see why this happened. Just when I say this, you have a girl looking for a rebound, and another girl who believes she's gonna be alone when she dies. And this is where this begins. To where you put those combinations together. Um, and this is when Gracie actually started to reciprocate. Because what Gracie thought in her head was, if I'm not getting with Danny, I want to at least be with somebody before I die. And that is when KC came in. And Gracie kind of started to shift. Not too much, but started to flirt a little bit back. I'm not going to go into detail on what they said because that's not important. But she did start to. I will say some of it is crazy though, but she did start to flirt back a little bit. Or whatever, and they kind of kept going for a little bit, kind of lightly. They didn't do too much or whatever. And then keep in mind, this is still the first night. It started to get a little bit more intense until Gracie did try to calm it down. Gracie was like, "Okay, so if you're straight, then whatever. We need to end this. Like, I don't know why you're doing this with me." And then Gracie was like, because Gracie realized she was bad at it or whatever. She's like, "Man, I need to take a flirting class or something, if that's even a thing." And Kendall was like, "Well, you got the right girl." Gracie's like, wait, what? And she's like, I'll help. Oh, wait. And then Gracie was kind of in a better mood when talking to Kendall because I think this is probably the most fun she had.
Just joking, obviously rolling on the floor.
I mean, like, I'm not disagreeing, but anyway, no. So Gracie had said, "What if I don't end up getting with her? Then it'd just be embarrassing, and I'd have flirted with a straight woman. No, what if I catch feelings? No, it won't be that easy. But it's risky. Kendall, help, bro." And they kind of kept going, or whatever, right? And Gracie was like, "Okay, dude, are you sure you're straight? Like, genuine question. You're bi-curious at least, right?" And this is when it began.
Nope.
Kendall said, "Want to find out?" And Gracie was like, she just put a bunch of sobbing emojis. And then Gracie decided to fold, and she did go with it. And then it got pretty intense. They got pretty intense, but it kind of heated up. They kept going or whatever. And they basically were like, are people going to be mad? Gracie was basically like, are people going to be mad at me if I do this? You know what I mean? And Gracie kind of figured it'd just be a one night thing or whatever. So she's like, I mean, as long as it's between us and doesn't go public, I guess I don't see an issue, right? Again, same time, she didn't believe she was getting with Danny in any way. And then they kept going and without, okay. And then for whatever reason, Kendall, okay, not gonna lie to you, Auntie, no offense, Kendall was fucking stupid here. She kept, Kendall kept doing some pretty deep flirting or whatever. And it was like, oh yeah, it's only practice, by the way. Like I'm talking like deep flirting, by the way. Like I'm not talking just light. I'm talking serious, like relationship flirting or whatever. And then she's like, oh, it's only practice though. And Gracie was like, Gracie just was confused. She's like, I maybe the practice isn't such a good idea because I don't think my brain could separate it from real or whatever, right? Basically saying that if you keep doing this, I don't know if I'm going to be able to separate that you're only just doing this for practice. And Kendall was like, well, let me help you with that. I'm straight or whatever. And then Gracie was like, okay, then we're done. Let's stop. And they did. And Kendall was like, oh, I wouldn't have sex with the girl. And Gracie's like, okay, you're so confusing, but all right. And then Kendall continued to flirt.
Oh God. Oh man.
And at this point, Gracie was like, okay, at this point you're just asking for this. Is this reverse psychology? I literally don't even know anymore. No, okay, look at it from my perspective, all right? Listen to me. You're like, oh, we can practice. I figured just normal, I don't know, light flirting, gain some confidence. She starts kissing me, and I'm like, no way you're straight. And you're like, wanna find out? And I'm like, yeah. And then you kiss me again, agree as rebound. And then you're like, I don't like girls. And then you say I'm confused between you and Danny, and then you're teasing me, which you're laughing. Okay. You have to answer this a billion, million, trillion % honestly. No joke, no BS. Are you actually hitting on me? No BS. And Kendall said, no. Like a fucking idiot. Again.
Man, I'm dead. Is this where I come in?
I'm more clearing my throat at you because you're an idiot.
Shut the fuck up.
And Casey was like, I'm just genuinely helping you. And Gracie left it alone. She's like, all right, what happens now? And they kind of went back to casual conversations or whatever. And by the way, Gracie hasn't had a relationship since he was 16 years old, by the way. And that relationship lasted like only a week or so, which is crazy. I don't even think that counts at that point. But, let me see. So, this is where, okay, right. So Gracie was just like, she's like, I need a drink. And then she's like, alcohol. I'm thirsty for alcohol and water from a water bottle. Casey said, you wouldn't want to get drunk around me. Even though she just said she would stop over, no, don't you say a word. Even though she said that she would stop multiple times, Gracie was in on it. And Gracie was like, don't start this again. And then Casey was like, I'm joking. And then Gracie said, okay, I'm going to tell you what happened. If you keep sending mixed signals, here's what's going to happen. One of these days, whether it's me or not, somebody, probably me, despite what you say, is probably going to end up taking it serious. And then it's messed up because mixed signals equal mixed emotions equal confusion equal whatever happens after that. And then Kendall was like, equal no kissing Danny's lips. And Gracie said, okay, real talk, that isn't going to happen. I just accepted that, which is why I'm being so open. But aside from that topic, I'm serious. You're going to start confusing people's sexualities or whatever. And then Kendall kind of slowed down a little bit again. And then they were like, and she's like, and Kendall was like, don't test limits. And Gracie said, I guess so. Not unless you intend to commit. That goes for anything. And then Kendall was like, I'll commit to you, baby girl. And Gracie was just like, Kendall. She's like, all right. And Gracie said, one more time.
Not to flirt challenge.
Gracie was like, one more time, and you won't know the meaning of straight by tomorrow morning. I am warning you very carefully, tread lightly. And Kendall said, what are you going to do about it? And this is where it all went downhill, where Gracie said, okay, where do you live? How far? You tell me and I'll come. You think I'm joking, but I'm not. I will dead ass hop in my car right now. Kendall said I'm in Minnesota. Gracie at the time was in Chicago.
Straight by tomorrow morning.
Yeah, you heard that right, Bob. Gracie said to Kendall, you won't know the meaning of straight by tomorrow morning, is what Gracie said to Kendall. But Kendall was like, I'm in Minnesota. Gracie was in Chicago. She's like, all right, what city? Minneapolis. 5-hour drive. But you see, I have a friend. Well, sorta. His name's Paul. And you want to know something? He owned property in a lot of places. One of those, ironically, be in Chicago. And you know what one of those properties he likes to own is? Airports, Kendall. Airports, Kendall. Airports.
Nice.
Meaning there's a lot of planes and people who know how to fly them. Kendall was like, nope. And Gracie said, it's a 15-minute drive and a 30 to 45-minute flight. He owns jets, Kendall. And sure, I might be stealing it, but I've done worse. And then she said, all right, I'm going to get my things ready. I'm bringing essentials. I'm driving to the airport. I'm getting on a plane, and then I'm coming over. You will eat every single word you said to me tonight. Oh, I'm not going to say that last part. we're gonna skip past that last line there, JNT. You know what I'm talking about.
I actually got to go back and see that. I got to see what that.
It's on June.
Say that part again?
It's on June 29th, 2024 at 5:35 a.m. By the way.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the time. 5:35 a.m. June 29th. But Gracie, basically what happened is Gracie said, if you do not stop flirting with me, then I'm gonna come over there and see what's up. Then I'm gonna see what's up, right? And Kendall basically egged that on. She's like, okay, do it then. And Gracie did. So Gracie got in her car. She drove to the airport. She got on a plane. She flew to Minneapolis. And I don't think I need to say it. I think y'all already know. I think y'all are already aware of what happened. And that happened.
Do you want me to say it? Because if they don't understand, I'll say it.
Do y'all understand what happened? Or do you need JIT to say it? Because I ain't gonna say it. But do y'all understand basically what that is? Like what the context is, what like happened?
Sex.
Okay, good job, Small Dog. Small Dog understand. What do you mean, bro, what? Igor Igor's like 9 years old, bro. Jesus Christ. Well,
Bro,
I guess you don't.
He's literally near that age. He's younger than us.
I am a straight woman.
Exactly! That's what I've been saying, Igor. But we'll get back to that. Okay? We'll get back to that. So that happened. They hooked up. Again, you know the reason. I've said the reason a couple times. So I'm gonna go to the next day because I don't think any of this stuff matters right now. I'm not going into detail with what they said. Believe me. It was
if it was me running the stream, I'd go into detail.
I'm glad you're not running it. Oh God.
One night stand and I'm not talking ECW.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
then I'm not talking ECW.
Yeah. But yeah, that happened. So they did some extreme flirting, and they met up. They did that, and then it was the next day. So let me see. Where was the next day? Yeah, here we go. So next day, and it was kind of the same. Oh yeah, and Gracie was like, and Kendall was like, but guess what? I'm still straight. And Gracie was like, that's crazy. And Gracie was like, come on, bruh. At least make me an exception. Straight, but with one exception. And Casey was like, all right, fine. I guess that's fine with me. He's like, I take that as a huge win. And then they kind of talked for a little bit longer or whatever. And Kendall was like, I'm glad that you're happy or whatever. And Gracie was like, are you happy too? And then she said yes. So they both actually were happy with this. And then they started flirting again, and then they did it again the next morning. Next afternoon, I mean.
That's two. That's two.
That's two. Well, chalk up the second one on the board. So, this is where things began to change, though, because later that night, this is when Gracie started to kind of break down, because then she started, the thing that Gracie said, right, and this is a very important thing to hear as well, so make sure you listen up. Gracie said to Kendall, a couple hours later when she left her house or not, she was like, Kendall, what am I doing? I'm fucking up. I don't get what I'm doing. Why did I do this? I wasn't thinking about Danielle. I was being selfish. Why did I do this? What do I do? You were trying to tell me to think of her in the future, and I didn't. I wasn't even thinking. I just wanted it so bad that I didn't even think about the other thing I wanted even more. I pushed it away thinking this was an escape. I almost asked if we could run away together. I'm a coward. I was about to run away from everything, from my friends, from the war, from Danielle, from my problem. I was going to ask to start fresh with you and live a new life. And then it hit me. I'm a piece of shit. Max messaged me. Kat messaged me. I had to lie to keep this thing between us a secret. I promised to never lie again. I promised to be by their side for forever. And here I am having intercourse with you, and that's not what she said. I'm just saying it in a more respectful way. And borderline getting with you, and about to run away with you. I'm a horrible piece of trash, Kendall. I put you through this. I'm gonna hurt you too, just like I hurt everyone else. I knew it from the beginning. I said you should be worried that I might have end up hurting you, and here I am. I just started all of this with you, and now I'm too scared to do anything else. I loved every second of what we did, Kendall, but I have to tell you the truth. I'm so sorry that I'm about to say this, but I was thinking of Danielle the entire time. When we were doing stuff, I was thinking of her, imagining it with her. I couldn't stop myself. I wanted to enjoy you for the person you were. I wanted to write poems and cherish you, but I couldn't stop thinking of her. I can't keep doing this. I tried to use this as an escape. I thought it would make me feel better. But it made me feel worse. I used you as my own escape, and I couldn't give you 100% of what I had, even if you did for me. You deserve so much better. You deserve someone who will love you and cherish you, and do all this with you and only think of you to make you theirs. I betrayed you, Kendall. I'm so sorry. I knew I was a shitty person to be introduced to in this server, but I promise not everyone is like this. What were you gonna say?
Not to make jokes or that's meat riding holy fuckk.
I don't know. I don't know how that's meat riding. When you have a crush on somebody for maybe 13 years, I would assume you would probably have those thoughts. I think it's a very normal thing, especially when you'd be surprised, Igor. Okay, I don't mean to sound like a grandpa, but Igor, I know you're fairly young. You have not had these experiences yet, but you're going to.
But damn, Brew, I ain't ever heard
You ain't heard of that? Oh, it's a real thing. It's a real thing. It's a real thing. People, they like this whole thing that happened that's been happening with Gracie and Kendall has been out of guilt, basically, like guilt for herself. By the way, this is a real thing that happens to people. When you have a crush on somebody else, wait.
I think about Hero under my couch, but that's it.
Wait, but it's a real thing that happens. Now, I haven't had this experience myself. I don't think, not that I can remember, but say. I'm just gonna say like a random person for an example. Say you have like fucking, I don't know.
He has a crush on Katie Bell.
I don't think.
Okay, so let's use Katie Bell as an example. Let's say Katie Bell has a big crush on like Kai. And don't take this serious, by the way. I'm just using this.
Make it Igor.
No, I don't, because I want to use this as an actual example. So say Katie Bell has a huge crush on Kai, but she does not think that Kai feels the same way about her, right? But she adores Kai. She wants to be with Kai with everything she had. She like badly needs Kai, but she's too afraid to say anything because she thinks that Kai is going to reject her. That and that her and Kai have had fights, that have arguments, they've hurt each other, they've hit each other, right? So she doesn't want to talk to Kai because she thinks that it's not going to go well. But she meets this person named let's say she meets Killshot, right? And they start doing something, and Katie, who is so desperate to feel something, to feel anything, decides to hook up with Killshot because she thinks it's not going to work with Kai. She wants anything to make her feel better, which is why she does it. And the whole time that she's doing this with Killshot, all she can think about is how much she wants to be with Kai. When she's doing anything with Killshot, all she can think about is Kai's face, how Kai would do this, right? That is, that's basically the basis of this.
More of it's there.
Oh yeah, Gracie's definitely a tsundere. But that is basically what's happening with Dracie, where, you know, Danny is Kai, basically, where, you know, Dracie badly wants to be with Danny, but given the fights that they've had, given all this and that, everything that's happened between them, she does not think that she will be able to get with Danny, especially with death looming around the corner. And she meets Kendall and thinks that getting with Kendall, at least, will help her feel better. But the truth is, it made her feel worse, because all she could think about was Danny. That is the best way that I can explain this, and this does happen to people, not super often, but it is a real thing.
All right. Can I say something real quick? This is completely, well, it's on topic, but somewhat off topic. Hero, you remember last night where we talked, right?
Yeah.
About this shit. If this whole Gracie and Kendall thing involving with Danny and Gracie's whole thing. If this shit was a Netflix show, bro, this is top tier, bro.
Oh, if it was like a TV show, yeah. Can you imagine? This shit would be so good, bro. But to continue on with what Kendall was messaging, or excuse me, what Gracie was messaging Kendall, you know, she's saying it was shitty to be introduced to the server, blah blah blah. But please talk to someone like Danielle or Kata, Kiara, Max, blah 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 blah. They won't treat you like I did. I ruined everything. I'm sorry, but I know what I have to do now. I have to be with Danielle. All my life, that's all I've ever wanted. I want her, Kendall. I can't take it anymore. I need her so bad. I will fucking kill people to get to her. This is what I want. I don't care what I have to do to get her. I'm going to do it. I'm going to fight her, and either win or lose, I don't care. I just want to be with her. It's all I've ever wanted in my life. It's my life goal. I'm nothing without her. There is no Gracie Lewis without her. I'm so sorry for everything, Kendall. I'm so sorry for messing up whatever friendship we could have had. It's all my fault. Please don't let this be your first impression of this place. Just forget about me, okay? I'm so sorry. And that is what Gracie said to Kendall. Now, Igor, I am really curious, and same for Small Dog, I'm really curious to hear what y'all think about this. Because now that you're getting all this information, I'm very curious to know what you think about this stuff. Because, you know, it's insane.
So she's showing a lot of regret/remorse for Danny.
I would say it's a lot more than just regret or remorse. It's at least 100 different emotions. At least 100, if not 200. Even emotions that you never heard of. I don't know. I would say it's just, you know, if you heard the messages from earlier and minutes ago, then that would tell you basically all you need to know. I guess so. It's not that, I don't think that's really what it was. I don't think it's that Gracie didn't mean it. I think it's just Gracie, you know, thought this is what she needed, but it wasn't. And of course, this could end up coming back to bite her. We'll get to that in a minute, though. Of course, Kendall replied, and Kendall was fairly okay with it.
Complexity of the situation.
I guess so. Sounds like a lazy way of saying nothing, but that's okay. Anyway, so I guess they kept talking for a little bit, pretty casually. Oh, right. So this is what Gracie said. Kendall was pretty okay with it. She said some good stuff. She stood on her side. I'm joking, by the way, Smart Dog. She said some good stuff. And Gracie was like, "You're not mad?" And Kendall said, of course not. I knew you still had feelings for Danny and accepted the fact that you were going to try and leave because I would have done the same thing. Um, and Gracie was like, I really wasn't thinking during any of it. Well, I think I said something wrong that I said, like, well, I knew I was drawn to you because I really was. It's just when I got there, anything that happened between us, I don't regret, and it still felt real. I wasn't kidding about any of the stuff I said. I probably shouldn't say this, but I really want to. I'm sure it'll be fine if it goes wrong, and maybe somehow I'm not able to make it work with her. Maybe things have gone too far, or feelings have subsided, or whatever it be. But if things go wrong with Danny, and for whatever reason, maybe we don't share the same emotions anymore, or whether it just doesn't go right, I'm not able to be with her, could we? Basically implying if I can't get with Danny, can I be with you? And this was less of Gracie expressing how she truly felt and more of Gracie trying to not feel alone. It's not to say that what she said to Kendall was a lie. I think she truly felt that way. But at the same time, it was also that she just didn't want to feel alone. To where if it didn't work with Gracie, or if it didn't work with Danny, she would be all alone. And she kind of wanted that extra closure to where maybe there would still be hope for her or whatever, right? It's depressing. It's really depressing. It's a good word to describe this. But Kendall actually agreed. She's like, I wouldn't mind if we did, start dating, but I'm sure you'll get the job done. And Grace was like, yeah, maybe. And that was kind of it for a little while, where they they kind of calmed it down, and yeah, I mean that was about it. They kind of calmed down. They kind of put that in the past or whatever, right? But they did keep talking. They did keep having conversations or whatever. Just regular conversation, talking about funny stuff, talking about random shit. And Gracie was still like almost looked like she was hanging on just a little bit to where she couldn't fully let go of Kendall because she would say it wouldn't be flirting, but she would say things. She would say, God damn, she would say things like, can I stay over or whatever? Like, I don't really want to go home. I don't want to be alone at home. Can I still stay over or something like that or whatever? Or can I, blah 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 or whatever? Or can I have, it wasn't necessarily flirting, but she was still hanging on by a thread. She wasn't really letting go yet. Yeah, she wasn't really letting go yet. She wanted to stay, exactly. Holy shit, Igor said something not jokingly. But
what did he say? I'm going through the Discord right now, actually. So
no, it was in stream. It was in stream.
Yeah,
let me
I
see.
was wondering what he said.
Oh, he just said that she would stay. She would stay.
Was like on and off.
She was like on and off. Yeah, exactly, Sid. Exactly. She was kind of on and off about this. Where it's like at times she wanted this because she didn't want to feel. Do you take anything seriously? Like, genuine question. Like, do you take anything seriously? I'm genuine question.
Guy said something that actually contributed to the conversation. I hate being serious, lol.
Well, the rest of us like to take these kind of things very seriously. So, I would say if there's a serious conversation, just Also, yeah, that was funny from Sid. But if you can't be serious, man, I recommend just not saying anything because I mean.
For me to be serious in a good mood.
I don't know. All right, well,
Sir.
don't call me sir. Well, for the other people that are serious and want to be involved in this conversation, I will continue for you guys. But basically, let me see. So they didn't really flirt too much more at the time. I talked for maybe, I guess, what looks like maybe an hour or two at this time of conversation or whatever. But then,
I'll try to be serious. Folded hands.
Look, don't force it if you can't do it. I'm not saying force it, but I would appreciate, if there's a serious conversation, not to turn all of it into jokes, because this means a lot to me, and I think it means a lot to other people. So if you try to turn everything into jokes, it takes away from it. You know what I mean? That's my main thing. Um, okay, so they kept talking, and things started to heat up again. By the way, Igor, I should mention I'm okay with the occasional joke, but I don't want everything to be a joke. That's what I mean. Not everything has to be serious, but not everything has to be a joke either. There's a time and a place. You know what I mean? But anyway, so things started to heat up again. Kind of not out of nowhere, but like, they had hung on a little bit, the both of them. Like Kendall knew she had to let all the way go, but still hung on a little bit. And the same for Gracie. She knew she had to let go of Kendall, but still hung on a little bit. And they kept pulling the string closer to them, and closer and closer and closer until they eventually came back together. And this time it was different to where they started to get probably more serious than even the last time, where it almost like they just kind of went into a trance almost. And let me see. I gotta go down. Oh yeah, and Gracie kind of said this not as a joke, but more as like unsure about herself. Where she was like, I still really like you, okay, like that way. But can't we just like poly? I mean, Kendall was like, I mean, if you can share, and Gracie was like, Danny would kill me. And then, they kind of did that. It was more of a joke that she said that, but it did kind of turn into a serious topic eventually. But, they talked a little bit more or whatever. And Gracie was like, I'm not sure how she'd react to it. I'd be so terrified to bring this up to her because I wouldn't want her to think I'm like, doing anything bad or like cheating on her or whatever. Not that we're together, but yeah. But if she's okay with it, then I mean, hey, that's awesome. Let's go. But if she, she does think this is bad or she doesn't like it, then it's a loss. I mean, it might sound ironic knowing me, but I hate taking risks, especially like that. That's what Gracie said. Let me keep going down. Hang on a moment. Okay.
Bro,
And
what time are you at? By the way,
uh,
I'm trying to keep
6:50.
track.
6:50 a.m. I will tell you that I scroll down quite a lot when it's just casual conversation because not much to talk about there. Sure, a couple songs. Let me see. Okay, yeah, they talked. So Gracie kind of mentioned the whole war thing to Casey because Casey was not aware of this, and she mentioned it to her um because Gracie was worried. Like, if this is ever going to be a thing, what if I end up passing away? So she had to kind of let Kendall know about that. And she was like, maybe we shouldn't jump the gun so soon, just in case. But I'm going to pack before I leave a couple hours, probably this time. No forgetting clothes. We can talk about this more soon, okay? No matter what happens, just know that you do mean a lot. More than Danny, though, I don't know. But still, either way, always remember that. I'll see you soon. And so the next day, she came back to, um, she came back to Minneapolis a little bit.
Realization.
No, she came back to Minneapolis.
Yeah,
Yeah. And then, they kept talking a little bit more, kind of casually. They slowed down again because, I think at this point they kind of realized that maybe it shouldn't be as serious as it should be. You know what I mean? Maybe they need to calm down.
Proper serious. It actually scared me, but I think it would have been cool to see a poly relationship in PCW
Uh,
with Dracie, Kenda.
I so the thing with that, Sid, is sure it could have been interesting, but you have to keep in mind that for 13 years, Gracie and Danny have been basically almost crushing on each other their whole lives, right? Like, this has been an ongoing thing. Like, they may as well have been together, but they never were, right? Um, Gracie has known Kendall at this point for 5 or 6 days compared to knowing
It's
Danny for
6
13
now.
and feeling the same way. So while I understand what you're saying, I also do not think I agree because it takes away from the whole 13-year thing. I mean, if you have Danny and Gracie getting together and then Casey's on the side also involved in this, it takes away from it a little bit. And that's not saying it's Casey that's taken away. It could be anybody. It could be Devin. It could be Erica. It could be fucking, I don't know, whoever, right? If it's to anybody, it takes away because the whole point of this is between Danny and Gracie. Not Danny, Gracie, and Kendall. It's just Danny and Gracie. That's what the story has been for 13 years. So adding someone else in last minute kinda is a little odd. It takes away from it a little bit. And that was the problem with all of this, right? That's what Gracie was also thinking. but they kind of calmed down a little bit. Again, and let me see. Oh yeah. Okay, here we go. And Gracie kind of said something that it really depends on who you are as a person, because there will be times in your life where you meet somebody and you fall for them so quick. Sometimes it could be too quick. It really depends on the person, but there could be times where you absolutely fall for somebody so quick. Sometimes it can take a lot longer. But Gracie really committed early, where, you know, she's like, um, it was actually really sweet. Like, it was genuinely a really sweet conversation between them. Like, it was adorable. But Gracie was like, I'm gonna keep the song that you said on loop. Kendall, I'm sorry if this is wrong to say or if it's too early, and this time I made it. And then she told, it's crazy, but she told Kendall that she loved her. And Kendall said it back. So Gracie then said, it feels so wrong, but it feels so right. I keep saying I'm gonna wait, but I can't help myself. Am I a bad person? Kendall said, well, no, it's you being honest, but we should honestly wait until we can get time together. Um, and Gracie was like, you mean after WrestleMania, maybe? And then Kendall said, yeah, maybe that if things go wrong with Danielle. So basically, Kendall was like, we should wait after WrestleMania if we're going to do anything. We have to see how things go with Danielle if you want to make a move, right? So Kendall actually was kind of doing the right thing here. Yeah. And then Gracie, I guess for whatever reason, just couldn't help. She just couldn't help herself. She couldn't hold herself back. She like just went in and just kissed Kendall, like straight up, and then she apologized after because she knew what she was doing was wrong. So Gracie at this point, so confused, so like. Gracie at this point does three things. She does not know who she is. She doesn't know what she wants. She doesn't know what the future holds. She's taking anything she can get. She is desperate to feel something. And it's
February 2nd, about Kendall because there was a connection between them, but I can see why you think that it makes sense now because 13 years would count.
Yeah, that is a very good point. There is definitely a big connection between Gracie and Kendall. That wasn't fake. They 110% do have something with each other. But at the same time, I'm going to get back to it because Gracie said something really that clears a lot of that up at some point soon. But and Gracie kind of was like, Gracie was kind of like, apologizing. She was like, sorry, that was too much. I shouldn't have done that. And then Kendall did it back and said that she couldn't break the rule by herself. And then it really escalated. And, like it escalated, if you know what I mean. And Gracie was like, we're bad people, but I like it. And, yeah, they decided to kind of, they didn't make it official. They didn't get with each other. Like, they didn't become, like a couple, but they definitely were borderline at this point.
I'm sorry if I blabber a lot, BTW. I try to focus as much as possible, but sometimes lose
No,
track.
that's all right. I love when people interact with this. It's a lot of fun when people interact. I love having conversations with people about this stuff. I really do. But let's see. So they just kept going back and forth or whatever, like a lot. They were going back and forth. They were doing this. They were doing that. It was a lot. It was a lot of wild. And they ended up. Well, actually, let me keep going. God damn, they did a lot. My goodness. Okay, did not remember that. Right. So Gracie at this point was back in Chicago. They started doing this again, and Gracie said, "I bet. You know what? I'm gonna fly back to Minneapolis again." She went back. She went back to Minneapolis. Oh goodness. And she decided to stay that time, instead of constantly going back to Chicago. And they just kept going. Like that it was a lot of shit. And yep. So there we go. They're at another one. That is 3 on the board. 3 on the board, ladies and gentlemen. 3 on the board.
Pulls up at Chicago and instantly decides, yeah, now I'ma go back.
3 times. 3 times.
Basically, Sid. No. Basically, though. Wait, no. Oh yeah, wait.
Face.
It would be
Oh
yeah, it's
yeah.
three. It's three.
So
We haven't
so
gotten
so then
three.
Joyce went to this thing, or sorry, not Joyce. Joyce had like a little dance competition or whatever. She was in the finals. Gracie, Joyce seemed a little bit nervous, and Gracie was like, "Well, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and go to Joyce's thing or whatever, right?" And she decided to bring Kendall with her. Um, and then they obviously hopped on a private jet to go to, I think it was in Vegas. I think it was. They went to Vegas to
Yeah,
see Joyce's
big.
thing. Um, Make that four on the jet. Big four. We're not even done. That's the fourth time. We continue on. Um,
Hold on.
what?
I'll be right back.
Okay. Um, and they kept talking the next day, pretty normally or whatever, right? Um, and I
Oh God.
think, yeah, I know. And then I think it eventually. Hold on a minute. I need to see where this went because they kept doing it the next day, just chilling. Uh, 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. Oh yeah. And they got even closer the next day, like in general. And they were just having fun, like asking questions and shit. And then later that night, make it five. uh, that was a lot, and they were happy. Like they were really happy. Things were going really well. Like it was. If Danny didn't exist, I mean, this would be dope. All right, but the thing is, Danny did exist, and Danny had no idea about this. Nobody in Justice knew about this. Um, right? So this is where something happened, where Max kind of ended up finding out about this. Max kind of knew about this. And Gracie was like, "This is bad." It was also because of the picture that I had as my profile. People saw that and they were like questioning it, right? And then she messaged Kendall the next day, like, "This is bad." Kira started confronting me about that picture and whatnot or whatever. Um, and then Kendall was like, "That's terrible news to hear right now, but I'm not sure how to feel because we just messed up big time. But it feels right to me because we're showing our true feelings." And Gracie says, like, "We are. I agree. It feels right, but I keep thinking about what everyone else would think. I know I said fuck what they think, but that kind of mindset made me end up like I did. I love you. I mean it. I don't take it back. I never will. But I also love Danielle. And can I get you to love her too?" Because Gracie at this point still had feelings for Danielle, of course. Those were never going to subside, right? Um, and she's like, "Kendall, I feel weird for asking this, and I mean this super well, but if it's comfortable for you, can you try to make Danny fall for you too? I would do it myself, but we can't talk yet, WrestleMania and stuff. And I really want this to work, but it would be weird if, I liked you and Danielle liked me, but you didn't like her and she didn't like, if that makes sense. Um, so basically, Gracie was suggesting that since her and Kendall had already had a thing, if she wanted to be with both of them or whatever to get both, right? She was like, "Well, I want both of them now." You know what I mean? I've already gotten this far with Danny. I've already gotten this far with Kendall. I want to have both of them. She suggested that Kendall go and maybe try to get Danny in on this and try to have Danny and Kendall be a thing and then eventually mix it all together. And Kendall agreed. She was down for it. She's like, "All right, let's do it. I'll do anything for you. I'll make you happy." So Kendall did indeed do that. She decided to go ahead and give it a try, right? And it didn't work. Gracie, or not Gracie, she tried talking to Danny and trying to get under her, try to with her, whatever. Didn't work. Danny would not budge. She was like very adamant of being like, "Oh no, I'm saving. I'm not interested. I'm saving this for somebody else." Meaning that no, Danny was interested.
Well,
No, it didn't. We'll get to that in a second. And Danny was like, "No, I don't want to get with you. I don't know who you are. We just met. And besides, even if we didn't just met,
stop rainbow
um, she was like, I'm saving my heart for somebody else. You know what I mean?" And that's referring to Gracie. And it made Gracie look really shitty because Danny was like, "Oh, I don't want to get with you. I'm saving my heart for her." But Gracie didn't save her heart for Danny. Now, it is for a very different reason. Like we said, that she did not think that Danny was wanting to get with her. She thought she was just going to die or whatever, right? Die alone. So that's why she did it. So I can't blame Gracie, really. Like, I really have a hard time finding a way to blame Gracie because human emotions are such a complicated and sometimes horrible thing. And Gracie just had no way of. Gracie is really bad at controlling her, obviously, as we've seen. And a lot of the stuff that happens is never out of anything malicious from Gracie. It's just out of the fact that she does not know how to control her emotions. And that's why this whole situation happened. But Kendall tried doing that to Danny, and eventually Gracie was getting guiltier and guiltier as this went on. And then,
I really can't describe the situation, knowing the complexity.
And as it went on, Gracie got guiltier and guiltier, and basically just said to Kendall, like, no, this has to end. We need to stop. Danny deserves to know the truth. And it took a little convincing, but they did decide to tell Danny the truth about this, because Danny deserved to know the truth. She didn't deserve to be lied to again. So Kendall told Danny about what was going on, and Danny, of course, was in disbelief. She didn't think that was true. She was like, no way, that's true. Oh, she didn't say that, but like she's like no. And then she decided to talk to Gracie for the first time, which is when the group chat started. She started that, and not sure how much was read, but I am gonna go over it again a little bit because I can add context to a lot of the things that might not be understood right now. So she messaged Gracie, and she was like, or in the group chat, she was like, is this true? Please tell me, or whatever, right? And she sent a screenshot, was like, is this true? Answer the fucking question. And, Danny had some heartbreaking lines, if you might have thought, but, Gracie was like, please don't think anything like you did last time. It's not the way you think it is. Please just let me explain. And Danny just said, Gracie, why? How could you do this to me? This whole time you've been saying you love me. You said you loved me, Gracie. You said it to my face, and I hit you. Fuck. And Gracie's like, I do love you. That never changed. I meant it. I deserve to be hit. Look at what I'm doing to you. Danny said, I thought you changed. You promised. Was it all just a lie? And then Gracie was like, no, it wasn't. Don't say that. Please just let me tell you. I promise it'll all make sense. And at this time, Kendall was typing a message, and Danny was like, if this blonde bitch keeps typing, Kendall, then stop typing. And then she was like, you never, it was supposed to be us, Gracie, not her. You known this girl for 5 days, and you fucked her on the first night. Was 13 years not good enough for you? Say whatever you want.
To take out of it, lol.
Yeah, the rare funny moment to take away from some of these. And Gracie explained it. She was like, the first night she messaged me, I didn't think of anything about it. We talked for a little while. It wasn't anything serious. It was just funny. She was flirting kind of. But she kept saying she was straight, but she was still flirting. And I kind of made the joke, oh, we're going to play in and see if you're joking. But I thought I was joking, and then I did it. And last night, I thought it was a flight. I'm not blaming you, okay? I'm not. But it's all I could see at that moment, the fight that we had. It's my fault that we fought that week. I thought you hated me, Danny. I took it too far. I did take it too far. I jumped the gun, and I felt so confused. I didn't know what I wanted or what to do. I needed to escape my head, and I was talking to her, and it just happened. I know that doesn't make it any better, but I tried telling her the next day what I did was wrong. I knew I loved you more. You're my life. I vowed to get you no matter what, but I did what I did. And even with what I was saying to Kendall, even if I believed them, I kept thinking about what I did. I broke your trust again. It's all I've ever done is break your trust, and I kept doing it. I told her we can't keep doing this, but we couldn't help it. I don't know why. I felt like I needed it when I knew I didn't. Kendall made me feel something I haven't felt in a long time because I never allowed myself to feel it with you. I wanted you to know the truth. I couldn't take it any longer. All I've done is betray and hurt you, and I did it again. I ruined us. Danielle replied. She was like, I attacked you. Gracie started typing. She told her to stop typing. The last memory you had with me was me attacking you, saying that you were no better than the Archangel. You said you love me, and Gracie was like, I do. I swear I do. I'm doing a horrible job at showing it. I know. And Danny was like, did Kendall know? And Gracie said, yeah, she was just trying to help me feel better. She isn't even bi. She's straight. She was only doing this because it was because of me. I forced her into this. It's not her fault. She's a victim of me. I broke another person. I broke her. I broke you. And Kendall, basically, Gracie was trying to take the bullet for Kendall. She was basically saying that Kendall had nothing to do with this, that it wasn't Kendall's fault. She was trying to take the bullet for her, but Kendall did not accept. She decided to be part of the fault as well. Kendall did the right thing. She didn't let Gracie take all the blame. And Danny was just like, I can't believe this. And Gracie was like, I'm so sorry, Danielle. I misread everything. I forgot what was important. I made the mistake and I couldn't go back. I couldn't help myself. I don't know why. I was so stupid. I thought it was too late. I thought you didn't love me, and I just and Danny kind of interrupted her. Yeah, and Danny kind of interrupted her, saying, "I have always loved you." By the way, in all caps for the first part, she's like, "I have always loved you from day one." Yeah, who's the one who stomped my head in? Who's the one who broke jaws and mangled Butch's face? Who's the one who claims she was doing all this for me, only to not even have her first kiss with me, to not even have her first time with me, to not even have her first girlfriend be me? I've always loved you every second of every day, but I question if you were the same way. Gracie, why? I don't understand why. I still don't get it. None of this makes sense. How does any of this matter? You never had a kiss before, Gracie. Not once. Not even from your old boyfriend. I wanted to be your first kiss. I thought that was something special we could have. And you had it with some girl you just met. You never had any kind of intercourse before. Not with your old boyfriend or anyone. I wanted to be your friend. I also thought that was something special we could have had. And you, again, had it with some girl you just met. Let me guess. You don't know what to say. Gracie, I can't take this anymore.
Holy actual fuck.
Do you want me to be completely... No, that's okay. I'm in the middle of Gracie, or of Danny, kind of, he's like, do you want me to be completely honest with you, Gracie? Do you remember that night after SummerSlam went off the air? The time I tried to kill myself? Hey, James Money! What's good? Don't worry about it. We're just... What's up, James Money? Yeah, Danny is heartbroken. Danny was like, I tried to kill myself. I talked about it. Do you know what kept me from killing myself?
James Money.
Do you know what kept me from doing that? I lied in that promo. I didn't tell the complete truth. I stopped myself from doing that because I still had hope I could be yours and to fix it. But apparently...
Almost what?
You didn't know? Igor, are you stupid? What the fuck? Okay, this is one that has been on screen. Dude, yeah, this has been on screen. Okay, now I have to tell Igor about this. God damn, okay. Igor, the night after SummerSlam, how have you not heard of this? She literally cut this promo on week 16. You forgot? Bro! Okay, so the night after SummerSlam, right? Danny had completely lost it. Like, she completely lost her shit. She destroyed her house, basically. Like, her whole house was, completely destroyed. On the floor, laughing, rolling, on the floor, laughing, rolling, on the floor, laughing, rolling, on the floor, laughing.
I shouldn't laugh, but oh my god.
She basically, okay, don't make a joke out of it, because this is a very serious thing, Igor, just saying. She completely destroyed her house. She was, like, hurting herself. Not like that, but, like, by punching walls and, like, by breaking shit. I think it was, like, Kat that decided to go look, because Danny hadn't been talking for a while, and then she found her house like that, and her car wasn't there. So basically, Danny revealed this later. Well, Sadie kind of helped as well, but Danny basically got in her car and started speeding or whatever, and she was contemplating, like, driving into something, like, at the fastest speed she could, basically trying to give herself a quick death because she could not handle it, right? With Gracie's betrayal, she almost, like, did that, and she talked about it. Yes, and you know what's crazy, Igor, is that this was on screen. She talked about this on week 16 in her promo. Like, maybe one of the most important promos in history, maybe, that she missed, but okay. But she talked about it, and yeah, that's what she meant, where she tried to kill herself that night. But she eventually stopped herself. And she gave her reasons in that promo, but basically what she's saying here in this group chat is, I lied in that promo. Apparently not. But she's like, I didn't tell the complete truth in that promo. I stopped myself from doing that because I still had hope I could be yours and to fix it. But apparently, letting myself live was only setting myself up for even more torture from the same woman who's been manipulating me for years. Crazy line. Dude, if there's any... Oh God. And then Danny continues to say that, if I knew what you would have done to me, I would have drove myself right into a tree that night. And Gracie was like, don't say that. Please stop. Please don't say that. And Danny was like, no. Keep fucking your girl. I'm done. And she left. Wild! It was wild! Yeah. Al indeed. And she went offline. I think bro had enough.
What is Danny's mental state now?
Well, we will get to that in a moment because we are not quite done. I don't know what happened to Janty. Is bro okay? I think his phone tripped out or something. But anyway, so minutes later, like literally minutes later, Danny got back online.
Caught up, I'm pretty sure, honestly.
Good. I'm glad. Okay, so she basically
Then
asked
Dracie
Kendall,
gets everyone on her good side.
huh? She messaged Danny messaged Kendall or whatever, right? And asked her to add her back. Like minutes later, by the way. And of course
And
she
she
apologized.
breaks IT off with Kendall.
Okay, if you don't want to hear about this, Igor, you can leave, but I am intending on filling in details for everybody else. Okay? So of course Danny apologized and Gracie continued. And she was like, she's not my girl when I was doing that. Cause, basically the same thing she said earlier to Kendall, right?
Oh yeah, I will stay.
Okay. Um, I took the easy way out. I thought it was my escape, but it wasn't. I fucked up. I fucked up so bad. I used Kendall as an escape to something I never thought I'd get, but all I could think about was you, and it's still like that. And then everyone started telling me how much you still cared, and it was too late. I could have hid this from you, but you didn't deserve to be lied to ever again. Everything I did was to get to you. I mean that. And the moment I thought it was all for nothing, I left it all behind, thinking it was over when it wasn't. It never was. I grew attached to her, and I grew to really like her. I tried to get her to message you so maybe you could like her too. I wanted you, but I was scared to let her go too. Even if it's only been a few short days, it was the same for you. The moment I met you, I had a crush on you, Danny. It's never gone away. Through your relationship with your past boyfriends in school, through the times you almost got with Maxim, but the entire time I wanted you all to myself. For 13 years, I wanted you all to myself, and I was too scared to admit it. Fearless was a lie, Danny. The thing that made me fearless was you. Feel fearless was you. And the thing that made me fearful was you at the same time. But the thing that made me truly horrified was myself. I just... And then Danny kind of interrupted, but I should clarify. This is a really interesting point that I want to bring up, okay? And this would change, I think this is going to change a lot of people's opinions if you don't have this yet or you don't understand this yet. Gracie, her entire life, has had a crush on Danielle, right? And they've never been able to express that. And I think Danny kind of was mutual. But I want to ask you guys a question. When Gracie was heavily crushing on Danielle, what did Danielle do? Danielle got a boyfriend.
Gracie hooked up with Kendall just to feel something. It shows that Danny has never escaped the back of Gracie's head.
By the way, I'm back. My PS app crashed.
That's okay. Yeah, welcome back. And Sid, you hit the nail on the head, by the way. You absolutely hit the nail on the head. But basically, the entire time that Gracie's had a crush on Danny, and even vice versa, Danny probably felt the same way as Gracie did right now. Because let me ask you something. If they've been crushing on each other this entire time, Gracie thought Danny wasn't crushing on her, Danny thought Gracie wasn't crushing on her, or vice versa, whatever I just said. They both thought they weren't crushing on each other, right? They thought it was one-sided. Danny, who had a crush on Gracie, decided to leave it alone and get a boyfriend. She decided to leave it alone and try to get with Max and Butch. It was a very short thing, but it almost happened, right? Why is it different that Gracie did the same thing? Once again, Danny, many years ago, is in the same situation as Gracie is right now. What Gracie just did is the same thing that Danny did to her. Multiple times. So now I have to ask you again. Who is really in the wrong here, guys? I don't think Danny's in the wrong either. But I don't think anybody's in the wrong, man. I don't. And that's what's crazy about the story is it seems like you have somebody who's clearly in the wrong. Like you would think it's Gracie, but it's not. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate that. But yes, it makes you always think that Gracie is the one doing the bad things, but it really never was. And again, aside from the curb stomp, obviously, everything Gracie's done has been almost because of Danny. And I can't blame Gracie, man. I can't. I really cannot. And this is part of the reason she became Alpha as well, is, seeing Danny always get with these other people. That is one of the reasons that she thought Danny didn't like her, didn't feel the same way, right? Even though Gracie tried to show her hints, tried to push it, right? Tried to be like, oh, let me get with you. Like didn't say that outright, but definitely was hinting at it. But Danny always pushed it away. and got with other people, even if Danny felt the same way. So everything that Gracie has done to this point that has ever been bad has all been because of Danielle. And I'm not saying I'm going to pin the blame on Danielle, because I think Danielle's feelings and emotions are just as valid. But at the same time, it's not fair to put all the blame on Gracie either. I think both of them are very wrong, which is the craziest thing about the story, because you always think Gracie's the villain, but in reality, they're both the villain, man. They're both the villain. If anybody's got anything to say, please do, because your boy, oh brother. That includes you, JNT.
Oh, yeah, right. So, as Hero said, a lot of shit went down. That whole 3-person talk, well, mostly 2-person talk because Kendall was scared to talk.
Danny.
So, wait. I'm being
Huh?
stupid again.
No,
My
don't worry about
mind
it. You
is
got it.
fucking with me.
It's what I was saying, where neither of them, or both of them, are like kind of the bad guys in the story. They've been the bad guy to each other's story.
Yeah, they've both done bad things, either even if it wasn't intentional or it was intentional. Um, they've both done bad things to each other. Um, equally, they both equally paid their dues to some extent. Now they're just gonna finish it off at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then Danny was like, after that, she was like, "You said you like her? Yes or no question, no more than that." And Gracie was like, "Yeah." And Danny was like, "You truly have feeling for her?" And Gracie again replied, "Yes." And then Danny was like, "From day one, you wanted this stuff from me. You've always wanted your first kiss, your first time, your first ever to be with me. Is that right?" And then Gracie said, "Yeah." And Danny was like, "And I was too blind to see it after all these years. For 13 years, I never realized you wanted this. I never realized you begged for this. The times you looked at me with your eyes, with those eyes, the times you tried to make it advance on me, I never once thought anything of it. I had a crush on you too, and I couldn't make the first movie, but the entire time."
What you was saying with who's in
Oh, what's up,
line,
Max?
there's a clear middle line where no one's in the
Max
actual
here.
wrong, buddy.
Hey,
Exactly, Sid. Exactly.
should we get him to join the call?
Yeah, I think we can now. By the way, I will let y'all know I have to go in about 15 minutes, so we gotta hopefully speed it up just a little bit. But yeah, let me get Max in here. One sec. Where is he? Shit.
Okay.
He's in your
I gotta find.
skin.
Wait, I gotta find the letter I. It's over. There we go. Invite. All right, there we go. Right. Max, we have talked about the majority of it. So you're a little bit late, but you can always go back. By the way, Max, super highly recommend to watch back some of the stream. The first part, we were just catching ego up on stuff you already knew, but the second part, when we actually got to the Gracie and Kendall stuff, I think you really need to go back and listen to it at some point. It's very important to understand. Because it gives a lot of context to a lot of things that needed context. It ties everything together. So please do go back and check it out when you have some time. I'll say the same to Paul when I get in contact with him later. But Danny was basically like, "Oh, hey, wait, Max,
Yo.
Yes,
Yeah.
yo,
Yes. Yeah. Oh
All
my
right,
god.
so Danny continued on. She was like, "You've been crying out for me to notice you, and the only thing I did was ignore you, beat you down, push you away. I pushed you into this exact situation." Of course, Gracie's like, No, you didn't. It was me. I made the wrong choice. It's not your fault." And Danny was like, "It is your fault, yes, but it's mine too. I'm so mad at you, but I know why you did it. I would have done the same thing." And that was crazy to hear. After what Danny said not long ago, she's like, "I would have done the same thing." And even Gracie's like, "What? What?"
Fair enough.
It was a lot, and Danny basically, in short, because the rest of this is kind of outdated. Not crazy. It's only been a day, but yeah, no. Here we go. So like Danny said, when I had a crush on you, Gracie, I was too scared to tell you because of the whole war. I didn't want to date anybody, but I almost broke that promise almost a few times. I had a crush on you, but I proceeded to fall with Max with Butch. I know exactly what you're feeling, and your feelings are valid. Um, and Gracie was like, "You're not mad," but Danny was like, "No, I'm pissed. Well, you should be pissed at me too." Um, and Gracie, or not Gracie, Danny basically said, in short, she basically said in short that, you know, I will consider what you want if you prove to me that she is as good as she said she is, basically. So basically she was implying that if things go right, she will consider the idea of all three of them. And that's not because Danny wanted that. Danny probably was in a lot of pain saying that. But she only said that because she knew it would make Gracie happy. And if that doesn't tell you enough about the kind of person she is, you just watched your crush get with somebody else and even, oh brother. But Danny was not happy about saying it. She was not content with saying it. She only said it to make Gracie happy. And I think Gracie kind of realized that because after Danny left, after that was done, the next day, Gracie had to make a choice because she had a big conversation with Max and Butch, but mostly Max, where it's an important conversation, hasn't been revealed yet, but Gracie said some really interesting things that made a good point. Let me see. So she basically said, let me see. I know it's not time yet. I want to be with Danielle, but I can't leave Kendall behind either. I want Danielle more than anything in the world. She will always be my number one no matter what. Not my number two, my number one. Kendall can't reach that level. I won't say that to her face, but I know it deep down. I want Danielle, but I also want Kendall to be happy. But I'm also happy with her, which is why I want both at the same time, even if it is mostly Danielle. But she was so... I don't know. I don't know what Danielle is going to do. Can you talk to her? I can't because she said she didn't want to see me until WrestleMania, but I just need to know how she truly feels. If she was telling the truth about how she felt about the situation in GC, and Max said yes, and I think she sorted out after WrestleMania, but Gracie said no. She said, no, I think I made a choice, but it's going to be so hard doing so. I have to leave Kendall behind as a partner. It's not right. It never has been. I like Kendall, but I have to realize what I love, and that's Danielle, not her. I'm going to feel horrible for putting her through the emotions that I did, but I know she'll understand my feelings for her will subside. My feelings for Danielle won't, though. She's like, I want her and only her, or whatever. And let me see. Where's the next part? There's a really good part that Gracie said. I think it's like right here. She said her last match with Alpha will be against Kagetsu, of course. Right, here we go. So Gracie was like, I feel so guilty because she truly did love me, and I felt the same to her. I had to tell her the truth, but if I continued to lie to her, it would show that I never did. She had a bright future, but it's not with me. That's why it was so hard. But like I said before, the feeling will go away once I'm with Danielle. I won't love Casey. I won't love Kendall anymore if I get with Danielle, but my feelings for Danielle would never disappear if I got with Kendall. That in itself told me what the right choice was. I love both of them, but only one of those loves is eternal, and it's Danielle. And Ego, that's what you were confused about, that one line? Because I think I said that right, but let me just try to recorrect myself. Basically said, if I end up dating Kendall instead of Danielle, all I'm going to be able to think about while I'm with Kendall is Danielle. But if I end up getting with Danielle instead of Kendall, I'm eventually going to stop thinking about Kendall. That is what Gracie said. And she was like, in that moment, that was like, I know what I have to do. That tells me what I have to do. And it helped her know the right choice. And then, of course, she said, I love both of them, but only one of those loves with Kendall and Danielle is eternal love. And that's mine with Danielle. And that was the conversation that she had with Max. And she had a similar one to Butch. Not going to go over it because it was basically the same thing. But she did decide to message Kendall. She sent all the screenshots in short in case you missed it, which I'm not sure how you would, but let me do it anyway. She basically was trying to stop Kendall from feeling this way. Basically, she was trying to. She in short cut it off. She basically said, "That's enough. I can't keep doing this. I have to focus on the person that I love, and the person that I love is Danielle, not you. Well, okay, I shouldn't say it like that because she still did like Kendall. Sorry, hold on. She, that's not what she said actually, but she said I have to focus on the person that I have a future with, and that person that I have a future with is Danielle. Because she knew that if she chose, not that she would have done it, but she knows if she chose Kendall, that it wasn't gonna work. It wasn't gonna last. Kendall was literally gonna be with somebody who had a crush on somebody else. That's crazy. But that is exactly how she felt. And Kendall kind of was in, I guess, disbelief almost. Denial, that's the word. Because Kendall kept trying to, I guess, push it back. She was kind of like, well, it's okay. We can still do the poly thing, blah, blah, blah. And Gracie was like, no, we can't. You don't understand. I don't know if you noticed, but Danny didn't want it. This isn't what she said. I'm just going off the top of my head, but like she didn't want it. You could tell by the way she was saying. She was only saying that to make me happy. And Kendall was kind of in a state of denial and desperation, trying to find a way to keep Danny on her side or whatever, or Gracie on her side. And Gracie kept making it clear. She's like, no, this can't happen. I'm sorry. She was saying a lot of sorry. She was saying a lot of things, and she basically made it clear that this cannot continue. That what's important to Gracie has to be Danielle, as it's been for 13 years. She can't take priority in a 5-day relationship over a 13-year one. That's not something she can just do. So she ended it with Kendall, and her full focus is now on Danielle. So you had a little freak storyline. You had a freak side quest for Gracie, but to be completely honest with you, man, I feel like this made it so much better. I don't know why. Am I wrong for saying that?
I will say that was something. I mean, that was something.
You hated it. You hated it so much. You despised it.
I did not like the idea of the poly thing. I was like, please don't let it happen. Like I just couldn't see it. I was like, no. But Max was like, see me. No, I did. It was no. But Max, he was trying to figure out how to he was like I think that Max was like, he was just trying to see through what Gracie wanted because but also realizing that I told he was like you have to realize that you can't prioritize 5 days over 13 years
exactly
and you, basically what this was for Gracie was like a rebound for her guilt and and just emotions basically. I was like if you if you were to do that would just I don't know
it made sense. I get why Gracie did it, and I'm not sure if you were here, Mac. Were you here when I was talking about what Danielle did a couple years ago? That comes back to now. I don't think you were. Okay, basically, right? So what Gracie just did is the same thing that Danielle did to her, because throughout their whole life, Gracie's had a crush on Danny, right? And she tried to make moves on her. She tried to make her realize it, but Danny always kind of pushed it away. You know what I mean? And this is going to sound familiar. While Gracie had a crush on Danny and she didn't know, while Danny had a crush on Gracie and Gracie didn't know, Danny decided to push that aside and get with somebody else while Gracie had to stand by and watch. Danielle ended up doing all her first things with this guy, while Gracie was just on the side, hurting, basically. Hearing Danielle constantly tell her about it. It's like, oh, he's so great, he's so blah, blah, blah. But deep down, Gracie is hurting. She's getting stabbed in the chest with every word. And all these years later, the same thing happens, but it's to Danny. Right. So what I was saying was, who's really in the wrong here? You know what I mean? And my conclusion, and I want to know if you agree with this, is that it's both of them. They both are the villains of their own stories.
So, a question: Did Danny know that Gracie liked her a long time ago? Did she know?
No, not really. No. And it's the same it's the same with Gracie.
I feel okay. Well, I feel so. Do you see when I was hearing the story, I feel like the difference between these two ones is the one at the time Gracie didn't Daniel didn't know this, and that's why Gracie was sitting there because Gracie made moves, but like making moves isn't always the same as like giving a clear sense of like, oh, I like this person. But then on this time, like I'm pretty sure they both knew at like around this certain point that like they had something for each other or whatever. But the thing
So
is, like
I
this
I
is what.
listen, hold on, real quick. I would agree, but you'd be surprised if that's not the case because we talked about this a little bit earlier in Steam, where Gracie at this time just the last memory she had with Danielle was three things. Number
Oh
one,
yeah.
the SummerSlam incident. Number
Mhm.
two, the thing where she got her hand bloody. She was beating her up, she was beating her down, and then started to see the blood on her hand, and she's like, "Oh my god!" And then number three was the big fight they had on week 18.
Right.
So
You're
Gracie,
right.
in this
Yeah.
in this state of mind, had no reason to believe that Danny would still like her. Danny,
Freaky
Back
Lewis.
to your normal regular scheduled program. Big
Okay,
booty
that's the last
black
one.
men having a threesome in the back of a
Yeah.
trailer park.
That's honestly good storytelling.
all right, excuse me. Um,
We're getting
uh,
this video demonetized.
X videos. Big booty
whoa.
black man.
Okay, okay.
No, no,
Hey,
no, no.
so I do need to go, but let me quickly try to finish this up. What was I saying? Right, where Gracie basically did not realize a single one of these things, where she had every reason to believe that Danny didn't like her. She hated her. The last thing she remembered, they were beating each other up. There was no indication. So Gracie in her head is just like, I don't
Yeah.
know what to do. She thinks she's gonna
Drowning
die
like
in a couple of
emotions.
months.
Yeah.
Yeah, she thinks she's gonna
Exactly.
die in a couple of months. She doesn't want to die alone. She has no reason to think she's gonna get with Danny. She feels completely isolated, alone. She's going into a match with her best friend slash wished lover, going in to fight her after they've just had this insane confrontation. That's all Gracie's fault, really, in her own head. And she's just so desperate to feel anything before what might be her death because she doesn't know what's going to happen, which is why she did the whole Kendall thing. You know what I mean? So I really think both of them are just wrong. I don't know. True, Sid. You're absolutely right about that. And thank you, Igor. Thank you very much. So that is everything. You are about caught up. That is the entire situation. Very, very intense to say the least. But at the same time, I really do feel like this. I don't know, made it better. It made it
Added
more
more, like-
personal. Yeah, it added more
Yeah, added
drama. It
more,
made it
like,
more personal.
yeah.
It made it more anticipating, dare I say. But Gianti, since you haven't had a chance to speak it, is there anything you want to say before we end off? Good to know. All right, very cool. Max, what about you?
Oh.
No? All right. Well, I think that's going to do it. I think we kind of discussed everything.
Snap,
we-
I didn't,
I thought your mic cut out. My fault.
Time
No, I was
back.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I was like, hey, WrestleMania coming soon, guys. Get ready. We're gonna have some fun. Yeah, fire stuff. I don't know how else to say.
Oh yeah, real quick, everybody. Real quick. If y'all haven't realized, this just made the main event, Danny versus Gracie, even way more personal than it already was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
thing.
Way more.
Yeah, very much so. And I think that's one of the. I don't think we needed it. I think it was already personal enough, but it made it even better, and it makes more sense for the
Yeah,
match.
it's like
yeah.
Danielle has more like cause Danielle like some of us feel like she might want to hold back, but like although she at some point might forgive her, this is more reason for Danielle to like go all out because I mean that's what Gracie wants. And now
Yeah.
that this happened, there's no stopping these two people going crazy. And then after the match, who
Exactly.
knows what's gonna happen?
Exactly. So
Yeah.
basically, the whole thing we've
Hopefully
already.
they make out.
Basically, all the drama had been. I wouldn't say solved, but all the drama has now been out. We know everything. Everybody's had their drama. Danny and Gracie have had their drama, sidelines or side quests and whatnot. But now the only thing that is left to do, there's no more Kendall. There's no more any of this. There's no more any of that. There's no war. What happens now is the match, and that is it. The only thing
Yes,
that's left
sir.
to do is the fight. And whatever happens in the match,
Exactly.
before the match, after the match, is going to tell the end or the continuation of the story. It's crazy, man. I, without a doubt, this is definitely the best story we've ever told here. Oh, brother. But I thank you all for stopping by.
It only took
Oh.
5 days.
It only took 5 days. I know. I know. It only took 5 days. And to be honest, I really did like it. I thought it was really sweet. I would like if it didn't have the context of Danny, it would have been better. But I think even for what it was a nice little like
Yeah,
in
like
between.
side, like
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
I think we're gonna look back on it with fondness if everything
Yeah,
goes
this
well.
is
You know what I mean?
Remember that one time when, like, a poly relationship almost happened in this company? That'd be the most, like, the crazy.
Yeah,
bro.
yeah.
Like, this is like, I feel like this is like one, like, the best side quest story we ever told. Like, I feel like, and I mean, nothing tops the main story, but this right here, this is the best side story. You know how we all have.
Really?
Like,
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that a lot. I mean, hey.
I mean, it's awesome.
Nah, I'm just gonna suck his cock. So never mind.
Whoa. And it is also worth. No, and it is also worth saying that Kendall is a good person. Kendall did not do this out of spite of Danny or Gracie.
Yeah.
Kendall's emotions
she's
were
a person with
real.
emotions. Yeah.
Yeah.
The person with emotions, you can't really take that away from them.
Oh.
Like.
And before I end off, JNT, remember what I told you. Trust in the process, okay?
I will.
All right. I'll catch y'all later. Thank you all for stopping by.
Wait,
I'm gonna go.
wait,
No,
one
I
more
gotta go. I gotta go. I'm like 5 minutes late.
Fair.
My grandma's waiting in the driveway.
Oh snap!
Run over.
Very low wooden pole.
Yo. Y'all be safe. Oh my God, it's great.
Yo.
See you,
All right.
man. Oh shit.
Peace out, y'all. I'll catch y'all later.
See you, man.
Peace out, everybody. Have a great night.
You.